Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and look into the maps that we'll be playing for this evening. First map off the board, Theme Park. Second map is going to be Consulate, picked out by Depth. So our first map to be played out will be Coastline, followed up by Oregon. Cafe getting banned, Clubhouse getting banned, and our decider will move on to Villa. And Villa notorious for being the map that Depth Esports lost 7-8 versus Oceanus last week, which had they won, they would have been able to play Team Oblivion today for fighting in to fight for the final spot for the Canadian Challenger League. So Coastline, I'm expecting that one to go into Windstorm's favor. Oregon, I'm expecting them to go into Death, and then we move on into Villa, where I think Death might have a little bit of an upper hand as what we saw last week between Death and Oceanus. But we're gonna go into the match shortly, and yeah, I know you were wanting a little bit more info on Kush, but he played in year one for season 1 and season 3. In season 1, he played with Orbit. And then in season 3, he played with Ferocity. Some of you guys might know the Ferocity team. It had Trippin, Inky Nade, FPS Zed, Lycan, Gun Havoc. So that Ferocity Esports, if I'm not mistaken, that team was also inside of CCS way back when CCS started. If I'm not mistaken, CCS started like around year 2, actually. So I might be wrong on that one. But yeah, Kush has that pro league experience.
Any sort of pro league experience, you know, is always a good thing for a team. The bans, though, coming out first. Foremost, we're going to be starting out with Depth. They'll ban the Buck, so could be a influential operator, especially if they want to go for more of the top floor defenses, since he's more useful for making holes in the ceiling as opposed to in the floor, especially since he has lost those frag grenades for the flashbangs. The Jackal will be second. More of a, I mean, I'd say a ranked operator to ban. We did see a Jackal ban last week. However, I'm trying to remember if it was either of these two teams that banned it. No, it doesn't look like either of these two teams banned Jackal last week, but regardless, it will be the Valkyrie coming out from Windstorm, which they did ban that last week. So they were looking to take that Valkyrie off the board, not allow that intel, and of course the Vigil as well.
Yeah, Vigil ban is very uncommon, although I can see why the Defenders of Death would want to ban it. So when they do switch over to the attack, they don't have to necessarily worry about where that Vigil might be playing when they're droning. And it also just it makes it easier on your support players for when they do get that drone game going out. So starting off this map, it's definitely going to help Windstorm in the first half here. So maybe there's some VOD review that Def did, realizing that Windstorm loved to play Vigil on this map. So it could be a target ban towards Kush or towards Wes.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure, but we're having some 6 picks out here. Oreo trading out the Ace for the Iana, while Malusi is coming in for the Bandit with Toasty. I'm a bit curious for that, but there is no Hibana being played as well as no Hard Reach, so it's kind of reading into each other's 6 picks there.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
attackers. Possibly. The kitchen site first. Personally, I like this site. I mean, I don't know. I think it's hard to defend on all these sites for Coastline, and obviously it's attacker sided, but personally, I do like the kitchen site a little bit more than the hookah site, which is the other primary site for most teams. Definitely don't prefer the top floor of billiards. Not billiards, but penthouse. And the double bars is too complicated for me. I just don't understand it enough to be able to defend it. So it makes sense why the kitchen would be the first site here for Depth Esports. And just based off the setup initially, it looks like they're going for a top floor roam, trying to secure the top floor and not allow that pressure to be given over to the attack so that they can't take out some of those anchors. Wes, normally we like to see him, at least when I've seen him in ranked, he's always on the IQ. We'll be bringing the Ash, though, for this first round.
So I know in the roster sheet for Windstorm, it did say NBC, But I'm assuming that NBC is also Twist, because I don't think we saw Twist in the roster sheet. But
Good question.
yeah, I don't know what's up with that. But you know, Twist is here. Exile is gonna be taking a little bit of damage, I believe, from Twist, who gets into that engagement as well as they both lose some HP. But it's gonna be Twist getting out on top of that engagement in terms of the health department. Some shots going to be ringing out towards Prophet, who's currently trying to make a push into VIP. Kush is all the way over in luggage. Had a chance to catch Prophet off guard, but regrets. He's going to get the opening pick here onto West right outside the front door.
Huge pickup. The utility operator Ash, all the flashbangs, and those breaching charges. FICO will get the trade. I believe that's how you say that name. Onto Exod as about half the round remains. It's only Prophet left on the top floor. He's being pinched from 2 different directions, so he's a man left on an island here, and is gonna have to try to find one and exiting
great
frag,
coordination.
Yes, great coordination indeed. FICO finds it from behind. That'll give top floor completely over to the attack. The man advantage in their favor as well. More damage being dealt through the floor. It looks like FICO will take a little bit of damage, possibly from regrets with that SMG-11 in hand. The double SMG-11, 2 SAS operators. 60 seconds remain. More holes being made by FICO, and it just seems like the drone and intel game is happening at this moment for the attack. They're just trying to see where these anchors are positioned, where they need to go for the holes above. It looked like that might have been a little pre-placed grenade drop down through with the sledgehammer. Excellent play there. Won't find anybody, but with more entrances onto the site, Twist almost able to find the kill, but it looks like this player will be just barely missing out. The nitro cell over. What a shot from Twist to take it out of mid-air.
30 seconds remain. Regrets will take a little bit of damage from a nade coming out from FICO, but Twist is still trying to fight against this Malusi from Tosi on the right side of that reinforced wall. Not a lot of time here on the side of Windstorm, but they're in the man advantage here by 2. Twist is able to find Toasty, and all of a sudden it's on Jammer and Regrets. Regrets dealing a lot of damage here to Windstorm. Will have that shotgun in hand and easily able to dispatch both FICO and Twist, and down goes... wow, even Jammer able to contribute too with cushion to Twist. And this round that looked all in favor of Windstorm. That's going to be a heartbreaker for Twist right there on that jump in.
Yeah, and seemingly he has a sound bug as well. So, Regrets asking if he slapped him that badly. It looks like we will be seeing a rehost here potentially. Just need to get the admin confirmation. But, I mean, that round was... I don't know. I mean, I can't believe that Windstorm were not able to pull that together. As, I mean, they had the advantage going into the late round, but just those anchors coming alive and being able to, you know, fight back against the attack and ultimately win out the round. So we will be coming back to us. It will be a rehost. So we just got to get that, you know, all set up, get the game reset so that way the players can actually play the game. But I don't know. After that first round, what are you thinking? I mean, normally Coastline attacker-sided map, the first round does go to the defense. Again, it's early on, very early on, so it's hard to say how the map is going to unfold initially. But, I mean, what are your thoughts after round number 1, Chris?
So, Windstorm did everything perfectly right up until the execution. They didn't have really any drones. Number 1, from the Ayana, Oreo didn't have any more drones left in his arsenal. And I don't think the Sledge really had any drones that were nearby to allow themselves to get that info onto the smoke playing inside of service. But regardless, you shouldn't really be entering into the bomb site that you're going to plant just by sprinting. You should at least be having your gun up, in my opinion. Clearly, it's a heat of the moment thing, and you know that only really comes with experience. But that round 100% should have been in favor of Windstorm, but very well done for both Regrets and for Jammer to able to swing it back into their favor and find the necessary picks to go ahead and put that round in their pocket.
Yeah, it definitely just seemed like the intel game was not... They didn't have enough intel when it came time for the plant. Maybe not just utilizing their drone economy very well, not having enough for the actual execute. I mean, they also had the Iana as well, so I'm surprised that their intel wasn't there, and like you said, that they weren't able to win that round, because it was looking like they had everything going for them, and then it just everything wasn't going for them anymore. So curious to say the least, but Windstorm are a good team, and I expect that they're going to be coming back in this with this rehost, evaluating what they did wrong on that attack. They won't have to attack that site again for another 2 rounds. It's possible that we go to see the penthouse, or not, no, probably not the penthouse site, but we'll probably see the hookah and billiard site next if it's not the double bar. Or I mean, Depth could also like go for a complete turnaround and go for the penthouse site. I mean, it's very likely, but who knows at this point? It's still early on. We've yet to see the second round, so we don't know what those preferences are for Depth.
Yeah. And just looking back on it, I think that the shotgun holes that were made by the defenders upstairs inside of penthouse needs to be relooked. And if they are going to have those shotgun holes upstairs inside of theater, excuse me, not penthouse, they're gonna have those shotgun holes inside of theater, then they need to have somebody playing on those white stairs trying to fight for their teammates' lives that are upstairs inside of theater and penthouse. And I think by having possibly the smoke of regrets kind of rotate around to those white stairs, it probably would have helped the attacker or the defenders just a little bit more in regards to that. But unfortunately, it looks like we've forgotten our bans. Hopefully for both teams' sake, they keep a tab on the band offers, but
we might be going to another rehost as well.
Yeah, it looks to be that both these teams are finally realizing that the operators haven't been banned, but
or maybe there was a game.
Either way, yeah, it looks like his game has crashed. So
unfortunate. Looks like he's back.
I don't understand how people say their game crashes like that when they just return immediately. Because normally with a game crash, you
I was gonna say it must have been a uniform that he had on that he had to take off, because like you said, there's no way your game crashes and you're able to load back in that fast. Like, I don't care how expensive your PC is, that's just not possible.
Yeah, it could have just been either their ISP or just the server in general. I'm not so sure, but
oh no, it looked like he had to take off a uniform, I think.
I don't know, maybe, but I'm pretty sure that they're joking about that.
Oh, okay.
Either way, Valkyrie and Jackal are going to be the bans for Windstorm, while Buck and Vigil are going to be the bans for Death. And our second bomb site is going to be upstairs inside of Hookah. For the defenders, they're bringing out Doc, which is an operator you don't normally see a whole lot. You're also bringing out Pulse, and obviously you want to bring Jaeger in. So they're bringing Pulse to bring in that intel game. And unfortunately, our observers game has crashed, and it appears that their internet has died. So okay, well his internet's fine. It's just his connection to the server, which I think his internet might have hiccuped, as you all saw the little buffering icon there.
Oh,
but
are we back?
Oh wait, no. Okay, he's joining back in. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Oh, here we go. We're good.
I was about to say, there's no way we rewounded the round, right? There's no way we could have done that. But we're back. We're here in round number 2, and as the technical difficulties do persist, we've done our best to try to get them all sorted. It's been either an ISP issue or something that's out of our control personally. So Kush has already made his way into Sunrise. He's going to be keeping an eye over towards Lobby and Courtyard. But Jammer's going to be the opening death here. Opening pick's going to come through from Twist, who seemingly killed him with his hands. And he's sprinting with his gun, so it looks to me that Twist is cheating. Kappa? Okay.
Yeah, this definitely seems like what's going on here. I think we need to check his Moss.
Check his
files.
Moss?
Yeah. Because this is definitely doesn't look like ordinary gameplay. No, it's definitely just a spectator bug as we joined the lobby a little bit late, and so just Siege being Siege. But regardless, like I said, the first death of the round going in favor of Windstorm, as It'll be now the second time. No, they're not going to split the opening engagement. So it will be another kill even to go in favor of the attack. So Windstorm proving that their attack the second time around, maybe the rehost is going to be helping them, but it's going to be better regardless as they're already taking the advantage. And they have control down below as well. So Kush could potentially deny any nitro cells for the hookah bomb site, and it doesn't look like anybody's inside of the blue bar, so they don't have to worry about that. But Prophet on the pulse inside of security could be a huge catalyst for this round as he's gone unnoticed. Oreo trying to get the diffuser down on default. Is the nitro cell going to come through? No, it looks like the plant will be successful. So post plant position here for Windstorm as Prophet is finally able to get the kill with the nitro cell. A little bit too late though. Oreo's already put the bomb down. Post plant position, you're gonna need to attack back onto your own bomb site. The pre-fire is coming back and forth. Toasty not sure where to look as there's players all around him. That barricade seemingly glitched out as it was being able to get shot through as Kush finds a triple kill on the round. The last player inside of pink, it's gonna be Toasty. He's on very little HP. He won't be able to make it past Wes. What an attack from Windstorm. And a lackluster hold from below. The pulse not able to deny plant is what gives that round over to Windstorm.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what Prophet was doing. I mean, obviously he's giving intel on Wes and luggage, and he's trying to have his team possibly rotate from billiards into aqua and try to fight Wes inside of luggage. But at that point, there has to be some kind of there's obviously a miscommunication coming out from Death because they got that plant down without any interruption. There was no C4 to deny it. There was nothing there to come out, whether it was a toxic bait from smoke, anything coming out from the defense. A pretty big lapse in judgment from Death there, and it cost them that round. Not only that, but they were able to lose both Jammer and Exod pretty early on. Because Jammer was the opening death with the dock, and then Exod got picked off from trying to rotate from lobby into courtyard from what it looked like. Kush just getting two pretty easy picks inside of Sunrise. And that nets Windstorm their first attacking round win here.
Now down to the double bars. And like I said earlier, I don't really like this bomb site. I mean, I don't have any idea really how to defend it. Just because I don't play this game too much to know all this stuff. Not competitive player here. That's why I leave it to the experts, you know, these guys right here. They know what they're doing. They practice this game. They are going to scrims. They're going dry runs. They're able to, you know, determine what's the best setup for our squad. And apparently that setup's going to involve a castle and a room upstairs with a couple barricades going down inside of the billiards room. That last one is going to be a wooden barricade, not the reinforced barricade from the castle. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like he has any more. I'm not sure. I only saw the one, unless there was one on the hookah door as well. But regardless, it looks like it's going to be an east side take from Windstorm.
Oreo going to enter into the lobby, try to get some intel with that Gemini device, and that's going to enable Twist to enter into lobby as well, but he'll look to take control over towards security to set up an air jab. Prophet going to get lit up by Wes from the opening engagement. He'll finally fall here. A great opening to come through from the Ash of Wes, as the bomb site they're going to be attacking is going to be on the double bar bomb site. Taking care of Prophet early on is very, very well indeed, because that's also eliminating a C4 to be used throughout the remainder of that round.
Yeah, definitely impactful to say the least, as Exile looks like he might be the next front that this attack is going to have to go through. And they're close up. They didn't drone him. What just happened? But he won't find any of them? What just happened? He'll light up Wes and Twist to low HP, but neither of them are going to fall. So, I mean, essentially, it was a useless effort. I mean, how does that happen? How does he go undroned and then he's not even able to find one of the kills? Regrets, he'll finally take down what was left of Wes, and Twist on little HP too might make this a little bit easier for the defense, but still a huge misplay there could potentially cost them the round, as about 75 seconds are left. Toasty evens up the man count and actually puts health advantage in his team's favor. A drop from the hatch. Toasty, what's going on? Oreo reads into it perfectly, eats a chunk of his HP, but will be able to find the kill. And with these Charisma still available. The Mute Jammer will actually stop it out as might go for a grenade, might try to just dislodge this Mute Jammer real quick before he attempts to go for another drone or maybe another scan here. As it looks like Twist just weary of the potential flank. A nice pinch here coming out from Windstorm. Definitely voting up to be around that they're going to win. But what a shot from Regrets as he takes the head right off of Kush.
Holy smokes. Oh my god. Kush just got absolutely smacked. Oreo trying to go for the plant right now, but unfortunately for Jammer, he doesn't have any rotate holes to work with here. Instead, he's going to have to utilize those bullet holes, but he'll look away for the time being as Regrets is trying to deny the plant from up above, but it's not going to matter as the plant will be successful. And now Regrets being all alone up above. Twist is rotated away, and Jammer all alone inside the hallway, trying to progress away from Sunrise into Blue Bar, but down goes Oreo. That's the man inside the bomb site. And with Twist being on 1 shot of HP, he's going to have to deny this diffuser from coming out, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it with this low HP. He'll hit the Sunrise window, but he's trying to go back and forth, trying to see what he can do here on this bomb site, but he'll get taken care of. Regrets on a quad kill. Round number 3 going in the favor of Death. And that'll be their second round win here on defense. And here on Coastline, winning defense is not that common. It's the most attacker-sided map here in the map pool. With the Castle Strat proving very proficient here for Death and especially for Regrets. And unfortunately, Exile taking a little bit of time to load back in. He'll finally be able to come back in time. And he'll probably 6-pick that Rook, if I had to guess. Oreo going to be taken away, going to be shying away the Yana in favor of a Lion, which I think is a pretty good call here. Lion is very useful on Coastline, especially for how small the map is and how close quarters the engagements can be for a lot of the corners in this map.
It's definitely the map I feel like you see Lion played the most on, just due to its nature. Looks like we're taking a little bit longer to load in, but either way, he actually stuck the Rook. It looked like it might have been a random pick for him, but regardless, it looks like Exile's going to choose to stick with it, as there was a 6-pick elsewhere. It looked like, I believe Toasty may have 6-picked off of the Legion to the Malusi. I don't remember exactly, but I mean, either way, Exod's sticking the Rook, possibly just for the ACOG, that 2-time scope that he now brings to the table. Really being one of the only few operators left that doesn't have a DMR where you have that 2-time scope or above. So interesting little fact that he still actually has, you know, one of the more zoomed in scopes on defense.
Yeah, and a lot of the times why Rook will get taken over Doc is because of the 2.0 scope. The 1.5 does give you a very slight advantage over distance, but not really. Some people would probably prefer to use the Holo just because of how poor the reticle looks on the 1.5 to a lot of people. But even then, it depends on which operator you have to pick for that Holo scope, which I personally don't understand. I don't know why the OG Holo can't remain on every gun like it used to be. But you know, that's the decisions are decisions, and we just have to roll with the punches as they go. However, in this round, it's gonna be round number 4, and FICO looking to drop down into the penthouse bathroom, as the bomb site is going to be played inside of service and kitchen.
Yeah, obvious that they want to try to take control of the top floor and start to open up the floor with the hammer, and potentially any of the hard destruction or soft destruction that's being brought by the impacts of Kush or the breaching rounds of West. But he actually taking an engagement early in the lobby. Will be Exod on the Rook. He'll find the opening pick of the round. Gonna be taking out Twist. So an excellent frag. Take down the Nomad. Possibly not gonna have those air jabs, or at least as many of them if she was able to persist through the round. And with more Lion charges going off, pings behind the main desk. Wesk is trying to duel with whoever this operator is. I'm not sure exactly who it is or if they've moved either. Still members actually upstairs as well, and a flank that could come into theater could prove detrimental to this attack. Yes, Prophet rocks right in, takes down Oreo, yet to dislodge these members inside of theater. Exod sitting inside of the pot as Kush is trying to push in from behind, see if he can't punch out these members, but they're fighting back very strong, tooth and nail. Both of them holding each other's backs, but Kush, what a shot, takes the head right off of Exad. It's all left up to Prophet, who finds one. Can he find a second? No, only the two that he got in the round. Isn't able to find the third, gives Kush the double kill. But with 60 seconds left, it's a 2v3 in favor of the defense as the attack tries to execute onto site.
So a concussion grenade will be utilized to make sure that no one is playing around lobby for Wes or Kush. It's now a 2v3 for both these members on the side of Windstorm and Death. They're looking to take their third round here of a victory against Windstorm. There's 30 seconds left. They don't have the diffuser in hand, so Windstorm are going to have to fight for picks fast, and they need them now. You have Toasty sitting inside of Pantry, and I believe one trying to rotate. No, never mind. That's Jammer sitting in over by the beer stock, sitting inside of Pantry. As our clean feed will buffer. Looks to be that Kush will just be holding the angle sitting inside of Courtyard, but it's going to be Regrets and Kush able to find picks for each other. Kush can't find the jump in just yet, but he's got 5 seconds to make this happen. He's able to find a little bit of damage onto the Malusi, but gets smoked immediately through those bars. And Depth are able to find their third round here on Coastline.
I honestly almost thought that was going to be one out there by Kush on the Zofia. He was hitting some nasty shots, and I mean, he was almost able to make it work, but unfortunately, it does go in favor of Depth if you're a fan of Windstorm, who have been looking very strong on their defenses here on Coastline. Again, not typical that we see a team take the lead on defense here for this map. And they've already got it. They've confirmed the 3-3 half. So at the very worst, they will come out of this half tied up with Windstorm. So it's definitely looking really good for Depth, especially since they're the ones, like we've said, they're the ones that started on defense. So they'll be able to switch to the favored side in the second half and possibly come out even stronger than the first. And this was Windstorm's map pick as well. So for those of you just joining us, surprising that they would be at the back foot so early on their own map.
Moving into round number 5, it's very surprising that Windstorm haven't really been able to piece together that many rounds, given how attacker-sided this map is, and it really just falls onto the opening engagement that I've been noticing here for Windstorm. They're often the opening death here against Death, and I think if they didn't cost themselves that first round, yes, obviously we would be looking at a 2-2 split instead of a 3-1 split. But other than that, I think their confidence just is a little bit shook here. You know, Wes hasn't really been able to find the impact that he's used to finding. Kush has been doing numbers here for his team, but it's mostly just been Kush. It looks to be that Wes wants to enter into Office, but that's going to be Twist able to fend off Prophet the Legion, who I think was playing inside of Office, trying to make sure that Wes didn't get access in there.
Now the third opening engagement won here by Windstorm. It has only led to the round win and obviously one of the rounds, and Exod will even trade things right back. Two nice headshots from Exod. Good night, Kush. Good night, Wes. Twist, you're able to get the refrag, but was it all worth it? You lost both the Zofia and the Ash, two big utility operators. You did take down the Legion, who gets stronger as the round progresses, as well as a Nitro Cell from Toasty. But still, a lot lost on the side of the attack, as the rest of these attackers are sitting here waiting. Exide, no ADS close by, will take a whole boatload of damage, about 90% of his health, and is going to be barely alive here for the remainder of this round. The attack actually looking good, considering the very start of this round. So hopefully they're able to continue this, as Oreo still has the ability here on Ayana. Going to be, going for some intel here. Not able to take out that camera in this game mode, or in this mode, Oreo, but it's actually Jammer. How does he hit that shot on the Twist? He's going to take him out, give the man advantage over to the defense, but still 70 seconds remain. Still plenty of intel here, as the grenade will come out to try to disable the Maestro camera. but still so much utility here. 2 toxic babes after the first one will get used by Regrets, and still potentially another Maestro camera that could be positioned. It looked like it is. It sounds like it is. I'm not sure exactly. Might be on the floor, but there's definitely still a Maestro camera inside of Billiards.
I'm slowly starting to dwindle here, and FICO having so much trouble finding that evil eye. But a little bit of damage, I'm not so sure who that was done to. I heard some screams happen, but it doesn't look to be that there was anything going.
Oh!
Regrets will choke out his own teammate's
What?
life and then die in the process. Everything going wrong here for Death, and all of a sudden it's going to be on Jammer to win out a 1v2. He's already gone ahead and down FICO. He's got to win this one versus Oreo. He's going to be low on ammo as he'll start to reload the Alda prone right behind the pool table. It doesn't appear that FICO is able to hear Jammer reloading. He'll get picked off easily, so he'll have to cancel that reload to finish off the sludge. Time is starting to dwindle down here. There's less than 7 seconds that he needs to be able to pick off Oreo and get that counter defuse done. Wow. But Oreo hiding inside right over by the couch. He'll take care of Jammer and Oreo on top. Finally putting Windstorm in their second win here versus Death. This round was all in favor of the defense. All in favor of the defense. Exog finding 2 beautiful picks, and then he ends up getting choked out by his own teammate.
That was unfortunate, and an excellent cover as well from Oreo, able to deny the denial of the diffuser. So great post-plant positioning as well. Excellent composure, to say the least, from Windstorm. Because like you said, after that double kill that we saw from Exod, it was looking pretty bad for the defense, or for the attack. But I mean, still, they were able to pull it together. It was still only a 3v3, as the opening 2 picks actually went to Windstorm. So it was a 3v3 with more utility off the board than the defense. But still, it was an excellent position for Windstorm to try to come back from. And, I mean, keep this match close, because, again, Windstorm want to make it out of this half 3-3. That's the best case scenario for Windstorm, especially since they now have to... they will have to defend after one more round of attack here. So the last round of the half will be a defense for Depth Esports of the double bars. And I'm interested to see if they go for another top floor roam here. They are bringing the castle, so I would assume that they are. And we might even see a spawn kill here from Jammer, able to put 1 bullet hole without breaking the glass. Might be a little bit too elevated to go for 1 more. Is he going to be able to spot the head? No, it looks like he's not able to get the angle that he wanted, so he will fall off of the peak.
This will be the final round of attack for Windstorm, as they're trying to equalize here against Death. FICO going to be droning. He hasn't found any kind of impact on this matchup here against Death. He's found himself some assists, but other than that, he's had a very, very slow start in this matchup here after the rehost. So hopefully, for his sake, he can start finding himself on the board. There's a lot of droning going on here for Windstorm, and some action will be brought on here as Oreo is able to find Profit yet again. I believe his 3rd opening death here in this matchup. Down goes the Malusi, and you're only left with 1 more C4 with Toasty on the mute.
Yeah, indeed, his 3rd opening death, 0 for 3 on the entry, so not a very good start to the day for Profit, and an excellent round there for Oreo, who had a lackluster performance last week. He'll even find another kill, a grenade onto Regrets as the kills start to pile up. Kush, an excellent headshot onto Exod, will leave Depth Esports in a 2v5 situation. Still a plethora of time left on the round for this attack to, get what they want, get the control, get the intel, and then pinch onto the remaining defenders. Still vertical pressure being held by Toasty, but as his teammate falls, he'll be left in a 1v5. Makes it a 1v4 with a nice nitro cell. Tries to go for the pre-fires outside of the aquarium balcony, but Oreos will give himself a 3K on the round. An excellent round for the Iana, and that'll be Windstorm tying up the round count going into the second half.
FICO just can't find anything going for him in this map. He's the most unlucky player in this lobby right now. And you got to feel for him. He's tried doing his best. He's done his duty of opening up sight from above when he needs to. But overall, he's just been MIA this entire game so far, at least in the first half. Hopefully for his sake, on the Wamai here, he'll find some impact for his team. But he's really got to be thanking his teammates of Wes, Kush, and Oreo, even Twist to an extent, for finding those picks. So we'll be seeing Oreo switch away from one SAS operator into another, where he trades out Mute in favor of a smoke. And I like the idea. I like the reasoning for it, because he's bringing in the shield, but there is no breach now being brought here. Granted, there is no Hibana being brought on the side of Death, but I think the Hibana would have been able to help a little bit for the side of Death here.
The site choice here for Windstorm will be different than what we saw from Depth Esports. They decided to go to Kitchen first round, and then they decided to come to Hookah. So obviously Windstorm, the opposite, more than likely. They're gonna probably go to this site first, obviously, and then go to the Kitchen for the second. If not that, then it's likely that it'll be the double bars. But it's just interesting to see, how teams prefer different sites over the others, especially given their lineup and what how they're feeling today. Maybe it's not a hookah day. Maybe it's more of a kitchen defense for you, or maybe you'd rather go to the hookah than kitchen against a certain team. So it's always interesting to see how teams adapt to each other. As Oreo, he'll start off the second half with a bang here, an opening kill onto Exad. So Ash off the board, one of the fraggers here for Depth Esports.
Yeah, Oreo's been on a heater this map, him and Kush. Wes hasn't found much impact since the rehouse, but he also really hasn't been able to find much, much action. He's 2-3 currently. FICO currently 0-4 after the rehost, but it's just been it's been a bit of a slow start for Windstorm, but at least they're back on track here, and they're putting themselves at an even split. So hopefully, with the way that Oreo's shooting, it's enough to carry the team. But Toasty's going to find that second pick here, and the opening pick for Death on to Twist, which is the castle. So it's not that impactful. The only thing that you're going to be taking out is the gun and a 1.5 scope. But Kush getting way too aggressive inside of Hookah, and he'll pay the price onto Toasty.
Yeah, an ill-advised peek, to say the least, as looks like it's going to actually be the more rare hookah attack. Normally you see teams push in through Aquarium. Looks like the man is spotted out. A couple shots will actually ring onto FICO. A couple more, a bunch of wall bangs coming in, accidentally hitting FICO. He'll miraculously enough come out of it at 50 HP after all the shots that he took in the side. So better or worse for wear, it's about 40 seconds left, and the attack still needs to enter the building here. Most of them still on the outside. Unless there's some players down below. Looks like there will be one that enters in through Sunrise and could potentially flank up the Cool Vibe stairs. Looks like that's exactly what's going to be happening here. Jammer and the Zofia regrets, but the shotgun from Oreo, too strong. A triple for him on the round. Going huge for his team, really protecting off that flank and leaving Toasty and Prophet in the 2v3. Prophet downstairs, able to find the head of Oreo, makes things a 2v2. He comes up the Cool Vibe stairs, but Wes able to find Toasty on the pistol. It's all left up to Prophet versus FICO. FICO running through Aquarium, not going to be able to find the kill. Is the sledge. The round goes in favor of Death off time, in favor of Windstorm off time. My apologies.
So this will be the first lead here for Windstorm. As earlier in the series, in the map, it was Depth that took the opening lead, because the first round was a kitchen service defense. That round should have gone in favor of Windstorm, but the smoke of regrets and the maestro of Jammer were just too much to handle for Windstorm. So now, winning their first defense for Windstorm, they'll be putting themselves into kitchen this time around as FICO will switch off of the dock into a pulse. So he'll be giving out some intel.
Attackers need to
Given that
locate
Valkyrie
and
isn't
defuse
banned,
as
that's
many
really the only
they
piece of
can.
intel you can give yourself outside of Maestro. But he'll opt to go for the 3 speed with a C4 compared to a 3 armor with those bulletproof bubbles.
So it looks like it will be the opposite rotation here for Windstorm. As Depth started here, then went to Hookah. Windstorm started Hookah and have gone to Kitchen. But it's possible that we're also going to be seeing a very large horizontal room here. Twist and Kush positioned inside of office and the double bars, as there's a rotation hole and some reinforcements getting placed inside of those bars. I'm not sure if there's anybody upstairs or if there were any reinforcements or holes that were applied vertically for these members, but with the pulse being brought, it's more than likely that we'll see these members play on site, especially the pulse, and possibly try to go for a nitro cell kill up through the floor. Because it can be pretty powerful, especially if you're able to get some of these hard destructors off the board, and so much intel being gathered by the pulse. He's always such a useful operator to bring to the table, regardless of the situation.
Pulse coming out from FICO, definitely feeding in a lot of intel to his teammates, and given that he's over by the kitchen, he'll at least give some information to his players that are over on the penthouse theater side of things. Ario's gonna get the opening pick here yet again onto Exile. That's the second time on the defense in a row that he's able to pick off Exile, who's normally an impact performer for Depth. But that C4 is going to get blown a little bit too late if he chooses to do so. Oh my god, FICO, you're messing with my emotions, man. Either grab the C4 and run away, or try to blast it and see if you can find a kill. But Prophet's going to be able to answer back here onto Kush, who's been shut down now twice in a row without a pick. And he could find 2 potentially, but he'll only deal a tickle of damage onto Prophet.
Unfortunate there. Just the timing a little bit off for the pulse. Leaves Prophet alive and the hammer along with it, so he'll be able to go for all the holes that he needs in order to dislodge these anchors. Regrets doing a little bit of a late drone ning, but he missed. Oh, he almost missed the Jaeger of West inside of security. The drone will turn around though and will give cause for West to shoot it and take it out, but he's not going to retreat entirely just yet. Actually, as I say that, he will retreat entirely and will give up the security to the Ash. So main lobby in complete control. So is above. So if they want to get in for this plant Depth Esports, that is, they definitely could. Regrets looking like he might want to entry in through the bathroom, spots the feet of FICO on the pulse, enters right in, gets the down and finishes it off. The trade's coming back and forth. West finds a double in the background, so he gives his team the advantage, but Sight is in control of the Ash. If Jammer's able to join his teammate without dying, this could be huge for Depth, but he's got to be wary of the player just on the other side of the lobby. But Twist with a nitro cell from downtown takes out Regrets, leaving Jammer in the 1v3. Knows where a couple of these members are, hits a couple of shots through the floor, but the last Toxic Babe will ring out. Nice shot there. Jammer takes down Twist. No, there's one close on bathroom door, but West with a triple on the round gives Windstorm the round, and now a 2-round advantage on Coastline. So, I mean, it looks like Coastline might just be defender-sided right now.
It's possible given the way that the bans went, but the way the bans went, it doesn't warrant anything for it to be defender-sided. Because you've banned out Jackal and Buck, sure, that gives you some help on the defense side, but on the defense, you've lost a lot of intel with that Valkyrie and the Vigil being banned out. So it's honestly been a matter of gunfight. Like I mentioned before, it's honestly a matter of winning those entry gunfights, and it looks like Prophet is going to take matters into his own hands. No, wait, Ace was banned in the previous match. I'm sorry, I was tripping. I remember watching Coastline. I was looking back at Slaughterhouse versus the Slats, and I remember Ace being banned. I was like, wait a minute, Ace is banned, and I just remember that it was the Slats versus Slaughterhouse.
Yeah, that's a good point. I completely forgot that we went through with this matchup without the bans coming through. As
Attackers have located a bomb.
looks like we're having a little bit of server issues. As looks like the server is just, yeah, might it just be our observer's connection to the server? Nothing too difficult, you know. And obviously the players in game don't see the same thing. You know, it's everybody's on their own unique server, and so not all the players experience the exact same thing. So that's good that it's just on our end. It does suck for the viewership, but you know, it's some stuff that you have to deal with things being online. So we will be going to our faces. You know, it looked like our observer might have disconnected. So yeah, I mean, we can just go ahead and talk. I mean, the first 2 rounds of the half, obviously both defensive wins for Windstorm. That forces them now to go to the tertiary site of double bar. So, I mean, Chris, what do you think? Do you think this is the round in which we see Depth come back on the attack and possibly push some momentum in their favor?
I mean, it's possible. That site is pretty difficult to hold if you haven't practiced it, if you haven't dry ran it, especially if you're a smoke playing inside of Sunrise. That is one of the worst experiences you can ever have as a competitive player in this game. But already, Jammer's going to be the opening pick here. Toasty's going to answer back onto Wes, who found Profit as well. So Wes picking up, I believe, 2 beautiful picks here in this map. But no, actually, FICO. We missed it, but his first frag of the game. His first frag of the game is in this round, and we missed it.
Against Jammer. That's unfortunate, to say the least. You never want to miss somebody's first kill, but I mean, regardless, about 90 seconds left in this round, and it is still the defense onto those double bars. So with vertical pressure seemingly in favor of the attack, not sure what Regrets was going for. I believe he's a teammate upstairs on top of the Cool Vibe stairs, so there shouldn't be anybody playing inside of Hookah, but these remaining defenders still situated on the site. 1 inside a kitchen, it looks like 2 inside of Sunrise. Not sure where the 4th one is, but I'm sure his location will be revealed to us shortly. It's about 55 seconds ring off, and some more droning is going to be done, possibly switching this a push up for an office take and to take immediate control of the blue bar.
I think this window might be bugged on our end, so it's going to be open. Yeah. Okay. So Toasty gonna be taking a little bit of damage, but FICO's gonna find his second pick here onto Toasty. And Regret sitting inside of office. He's gonna try to be going for an execute into blue bar alongside Exod. Although I'm not so sure. Although Exod is still outside of that blue bar window.
Yeah, again, just some connectivity issues here. As it looks like Regrets is trying to sneak in and go for this plant, and it looks like he could possibly be successful here if there's cover appropriately from Exod, but no, FICO walks right up, takes out the planter, switches over, and rips the head right off of Regrets. An excellent little clutch there for the Wamai, and giving Windstorm yet again another round on defense. So that is going to be now 3 in a row. They complete the rotation and now are able to go back to their primary site.
Yeah, Windstorm really on top here. They've won 3 rounds in a row, putting themselves on a match point here on Coastline. FICO really coming alive that last round, getting himself his first 4 picks of the matchup. And unfortunately for us right now, we are still having some technical difficulties. It's completely out of any of our hands. We are going to be going into a production rehost, and we'll be back in just as soon as possible in just a few moments.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Canada Challenger League. My name is Uzumaki alongside Razors. Unfortunately, we had some tech issues that caused us to miss the ending of Coast and Windstorm coming alive, winning out 4 defense rounds in a row to win Coastline 7-3 and completely putting Depth in the dirt.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we didn't get to catch that last round, but you didn't get to miss much at least, so we'll be able to show you some of the replays from everything but that last round. And I shot there, Twist, able to knock the nitro cell out of midair. I know he was having some trouble getting the kills, but not able to, no trouble in getting the nitro cell. And it seems like the SAS shotgun, the M590, really popping off for a couple of players in this round. I know Oreos had a big round with one. We just saw one right there, and this from Exide. I cannot believe that he was like he allowed both of those players to come away with their life.
Yeah, if you just put one more bullet each into both those players, they still win the round, but it goes completely different. It definitely goes in a completely different way. And this play right here from Exide, oh man, what a pre-fire on that from Sunrise. But overall, it ended up being Oreo winning it out. And then Depth just, it was Windstorm ever since that round that Oreo got that pick. They won 5 rounds in a row. Or was it 6? No, they won 6 rounds in a row because they were down 3-1. And then they came back and just completely stomped all over Depth.
Yeah, and I think we have to give a shout out to Oreo because Oreo he did not have a very good match last week. In fact, his rating was a .54. So definitely a much better performance through one map this week around, and I think his team's performance like showed because of it. Obviously, they were able to take that map fairly convincingly after the first half because. I mean, after the first half, it took the first 3 rounds. It was a 3-3 half to start things out, and it was actually a 3-1 lead for Death before Windstorm were able to go on that huge comeback. But enough of that. Let's get into map number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Windstorm up 1-0, but Depth looking to bring things back on their own map choice. Are they going to be able to do it, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see what the bans are going to be foremost for this map. It's likely that we'll see a Thatcher ban and potentially an Ace. I would have to guess.
Possibly. Definitely possibly. So from what we've seen on Oregon, at least, it's usually Ace and Thatcher. It's usually those 2 operators. First one off the bat's going to be Thatcher, so 1 for 1. And then whenever we move to the defense, sometimes it'll be Wamai, other times it'll be Goyo, as we saw earlier. But Goyo is a pretty uncommon ban. It's more so just a Wamai mirror ban. Maverick is going to be the second attacker, off the board, and the only hard breach to be taken out. So that's interesting to me that Depth are banning it out, considering that they are starting on attack, so it's going to make their attacks even harder. And Depth will also be banning out Twist's Clash, so he is upset. You can feel the hatred in his text that Depth did their VOD review.
Yep.
And Twist will not be allowed onto Clash, which I think is a pretty massive ban, regardless, because of how much crowd control Clash is able to do, while also dealing damage depending on how long you're within her range of electricity. And with Wamai being gone, it makes things easier for the attack because you only have 6 projectiles to waste instead of 5 projectiles and a nade, or a Zofia impact, or an Ash charge. But there is going to be no Ash being played here. Instead, we're going to be seeing both Ace and Thermites.
There's got to be a 6 pick there, right?
And Hibana.
Wow. No. Really?
So,
okay, there has to be a 6. I was going to say, there's no way you're bringing 3 hard destructors for Oregon. And the Sledge definitely makes a lot more sense. But again, like you said, there's no Ash available, so a lot of that utility that can be displaced by the Ash, especially since there's castle barricades and bulletproof the bulletproof Evil Eyes brought by Twist, definitely would make sense to bring an Ash. But the Sledge makes sense equally as well. He's also able to get rid of those castle barricades. He just needs to get a little closer, and of course he has the 2 grenades that he can throw at either the barricades or the Evil Eyes themselves. So definitely still the utility that they need in order to deal with what the defense is bringing. It just might be a little bit harder without an Ash available, who is, so useful in the meta nowadays.
Yeah, Ash has gone from 4 years of hard fragging to half a year of just being one of the most important utility operators in the meta. And really, the meta revolves around the bans. Yeah, dealing with the mirror is difficult. Yeah, dealing with Goyle can be difficult as well. But in this round, it's clear that Depth has done their research. But that's going to be a massive miscue. Prophet, what are you doing? Swinging into Wes's crosshairs. No intel, no info. not even bothering to use his utility, not even bothering to have his teammates try and flash off the ADS that's being played up there. And apparently he got a call that he's coming down T3, so what? Oh man, I mean that's the price you pay for not running an IQ, right? That's the biggest price that you pay for one, either not banning Vigil or two, not running IQ, which I think would be a very good opportunity here for Death. But Wes easily going to dispatch of Exoc, who really hasn't been that impactful in this series as it is. So Wes just padding his stats here, almost getting taken care of by Toasty on the drop. Now he's coming down T3. That call comes out correctly about 30 seconds later.
Yeah, it's funny how 30 seconds of time makes a call out now correct. But regardless, it's still a 5v3 for the attack to try to fight their way out of. Not looking really good here for Depth in round number 1, and it looks like the offsite here of meeting has worked out pretty well for Windstorm thus far. Toasty has maneuvered his way into meeting, and it doesn't look like the Maestro's aware of his position. A nice headshot there from Toasty. Gonna be able to put these air jabs down, maybe cut off the rest of these defenders as they try to rotate back onto the site. West just frailing through the wind. Is coming down from Regrets right on the bomb. Jammer able to get a frag onto FICO, so we're not an even man count as the plant has been successful. 40 seconds remaining on the climber. West on such little HP, and still some members above trying to see if they can't find any of these players that have moved into the site, but it looks like they've all moved back out. Wario, aware of the player on the laundry stairs, able to hit the head right onto Jammer, leaving Toasty and Regrets in the 1v3. Is the air jab, it looked like that knocked that player down the hatch. Could have been lethal to him if he had taken a little bit of damage from that, but it looks like West will be taken out regardless by Regrets. From Pakush, the immediate trade. Do they know Toasty is on this hallway? He'll be able to deny the diffuser, but is he going to be able to deny the last person? The flashbang come in. Toasty, what are you doing? There's not enough time for Kush. Regardless, Depth Esports win that off of a plant and the timer from that plant. An excellent round from Depth, able to recover from that two-man disadvantage early on.
Wow. I cannot believe that Depth are allowed to just walk into sight like that. I mean, granted, West got the opening picks. I'm not so sure why he didn't bother rotating back to sight later on. Maybe he thought that Depth were going to keep trying to feed him and pressure him out of T3, and then he falls into T2, and Toasty gives that call that he's already dropped down to T2, but the execute's already coming in from dining, and the defenders are nowhere to be found. I'm just at a loss for words right now for how Windstorm just completely let that 5v3 situation advantage that they had walk away and go into the hands of Death.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Sorry, there was that had to have been just a push in through the garage right in the meeting, because I don't know, somehow Toasty was able to just walk right into meeting and then make his way into kitchen and take that control with ease, especially having air jabs still left to his disposal. But I don't know, just a lapse of communication there for Windstorm.
10 seconds left.
I mean, they had that round done and dusted, but they just gave up meeting control to Depth, and once they had that, it was all she wrote. An easy round win for Depth, even after a few trades, making it a little bit scary going back and forth, but ultimately being in the advantage as they were able to get that bomb down. So well played there by Depth to read into the defense from Windstorm and expose its weakness.
Yeah, Kush going to be on a nearby roam on the staircase, but he'll get compromised now, and he'll start to retreat down the tower stairs, heading into the basement. He's also going to take off another drone being utilized by the attacking squad here, as a third drone will start to find his newly found position right behind the pillar, as there's two members from Death currently hiding behind that pillar, and one over by the double door, which I believe is going to be both FICO and Kush.
Yep, the first frag of this round will go in favor of the Fragmite Jammer, taking down Twist. That's a huge pick. That's the Maestro off the board. One of the operators who can really influence around in the late game. All those cameras will be locked into position as the rest of the attack seems to want to come in through construction. West is actually going to be barricaded into the tarps room. I'm not sure. No, it looks like Oreo actually came off of the reinforcement, allows for West to rotate back through, but it doesn't look like he'll be going for that pocket reinforcement. Instead, Exod is going to be able to get another entry onto West, who is recently playing that position and will be giving himself away to the attack. Profit, another kill for the attack as Oreo falls just inside of the rotation hole from tarps. It's now all left up to Kush and FICO in the 2v5, both of them taking so much damage on such little HP. It's now all left up to Kush on about 10. He'll have to clutch up against the remaining 5 attackers. He won't even find one. The pistol from Toasty, he'll be able to end out that round. Pistola, as he's able to win out the second round now here for Depth, 2 in a row.
Things are not looking good here for Windstorm, and on a map that should be in their favor, considering that they're starting on defense with both Clash and Lamigon. Yeah, it makes things a little bit tougher for you, knowing that you rely on that Clash, but you should still be able to adapt around that the fact that you're not able to have these operators in store here. The only type of operator that you're able to bring to prevent those projectiles from being detonated is going to be with the Jaeger, sure, but you're also bringing the Melusi to try to slow down the attacker's progression, and it's just been anything but here for Windstorm. For their third bomb site, they'll be heading back downstairs into the basement. Hopefully for Windstorm, they can try to get something going here into their favor. I don't know if it's just the fact that they need to stop peeking so aggressively or what. We didn't really get to see a lot of the mistakes that were happening on the side of Windstorm, but they were dying very early on and giving up their bodies way too early.
Coming now into round 3, we're going to see looks like a roam strategy here from Windstorm. They've got players pretty much everywhere. Like, this is a very extended roam. Okay, so they have rotationals in kitchen to security. They also had the hatch open in meeting, and I believe Wes used a couple of impacts upstairs inside of attic. So a very elaborate roam game coming out from Windstorm. It's curious as to why they're putting so much utility on this roam. I mean, Exod and the rest of Depth could just walk down the main stairs right now and completely flood the site. Looks like Exod is gonna choose to just hold the flank for the time being. Oreo charged and trying to hold off that main laundry stairs push. As yeah, I think there's 4 roamers. I think there's only 1 player actually on the objective. I think the other players are on the first and second floor. So definitely an interesting roam strategy. Good. Yeah, Oreo going to be the first man to fall, is going to just lag out. That's unfortunate to say the least, but it will leave his team in a 4v5, especially on a heavy roam. That's very unfortunate. I think he was the only player actually on the site.
It's quite possibly, but you do have Twist currently playing inside of security, and if I'm not mistaken, he does have the hatch open to drop down into freezer. However, the plant's already going down, and Def clearly know that they're in complete control of the bomb site. Michael will be the first to attempt to try to retake this bomb site, and he'll be successful as Jammer's able to take care of West, and Twist will trade it back onto Jammer now. A 3v3 here. C4 getting tossed out. Regrets doesn't even move. Toasty able to trade it back, but this SMG-11 from Twist can be very detrimental in this gunfight against the Nomad of Toasty. Kush is going to have to take the charge here and try to fight against that Nomad. Can he find the head? He won't be able to do so. Well, he'll get it up to about half HP before Toasty is able to answer back. Kush getting shot in the back and the front. And Windstorm will lose yet another round. Depth are on top here. 3 attack rounds in a row on Oregon.
I mean, that's just unlucky, to say the least, for Windstorm. I'm fairly certain that Oreo was their only player on site. And once he lagged out, I mean, that made the attack super easy for Depth. They literally just needed to walk onto the site, plant the bomb, and then wait for the rest of the defenders that were roaming above to come to them. So well played there by Depth to, I mean, take advantage, I guess, of the unfortunate situation that had to occur. Oreo is back in the game, however, so hopefully this time around they are able to find a little bit more successes. I mean, it has been all Depth, all map. They have already planted the bomb twice in 3 rounds. They surprisingly though only have the opening pick in I'm not sure who had the opening pick in that last round. I wasn't able to catch it, but I know that they're tied for the first 2 rounds on opening picks.
I'm not so sure exactly what's going wrong with Windstorm. Granted, that last round was infinitely due to the fact that Oreo lagged out, but
10 seconds remaining.
it's the fact that the moment they knew that Oreo lagged out,
Seconds to go.
there should have been a call for Windstorm to rotate down to the site, and I'm pretty sure there was. But from the looks of it, it looked like they were trying to be too careful without dying. And FICO was the first line of defense to retreat back into the bomb site, falling down through meeting. And we saw West was still up above inside of Attic at the time that they were executing the bomb sites. But, you know, that there's just got to be something else to happen for Windstorm there should that happen.
Yep, definitely agree. Looks like we're seeing a similar attack here from Depth, opening up the attic wall from Big Tower. Of course, we have a Nomad. She is, I mean, I want to know her pick rate. I mean, it has to be above, like, it has to be above 85% because she is being brought by so many different lineups, especially inside of Challenger League, that, I mean, her pick rate has to be one of the highest, up there with maybe like Jaeger and Wamai when they're not banned, but whatever, you know. Obviously the Nomad is useful, and already here we see Kush possibly being warded off by an air jab itself, but doesn't even matter. Exod will finally come alive here. He'll be able to find the opening pick here on to FICO. So the Goyo off the board. That's one of the nitro cells down. There's still 2 being brought by both Kush and Twist, so have to be wary of that. As the rest of this attack starts to unfold, could possibly be good here. It looks like Jammer is aware, though, of the potential flank, so he's just going to wait for this player to try to come up.
Yeah, Kush on the back tower staircase, trying to make his entry and see if he can get his team equalized here against Jammer. Ooh, but he's aware of Toasty coming around for the corner. Poor choice for Toasty to top that flashbang without Jammer creeping up on the staircase and hope pay for his life. So for the time being, Depth has lost that advantage and they have equalized here against Windstorm. Now as time is starting to run thin, Jammer doesn't have the diffuser, so he's good for watching flank there, but it appears that Kush has decided to give up that forward flank and decided to rotate over towards main stairs, which he'll be meeting. Oh, the Zofia, who does end up getting the kill onto Twist, but Kush able to equalize yet again here for his team. There's so many drones that are around Kush here. 3 different drones in 3 different spots, all watching the main lobby. 25 seconds to go, and Kush can still deny the plant from down below. It'll be the first Toxic Babe to come out here from Oreo. Tossing out his second one now as time's starting to dwindle down here. He'll go ahead and pop that one as well. Nade will come in to try to remove the shield. The time is running thin here for the attacking squad. This could be the first round of action for Windstorm as West is able to find one, and Kush coming alive here. 3 big picks for his team. I'm sorry, 4 big picks actually, as West was able to find one there on Jammer hopping in the big window. Kush coming in massive here for the clutch for his team with the, well, not for the clutch, but you know, it's still like, you know, he was able to keep himself alive, win those opening engagements that he was pressured into dealing with. And finally, Windstorm were able to put themselves on the board.
Yeah, a great comeback round there for Windstorm after the unfortunate circumstances that befell them last round. So possibly swinging some momentum into their favor. They're definitely going to need to, as, I mean, this map traditionally being defensive sided doesn't look good for a team 1 and 3 on their defenses to start out. So best case scenario, Windstorm are able to get out of this half tied at 3 apiece. So Depth already really looking at the in the driver's seat here for their map choice. It's quite obvious as to why they chose it, how strong they are currently on it. So we see Toasty on that flex roll. He's 7-1, only dying in one round, the only round in which Depth have lost. So the game plan here, if you're Windstorm, kill Toasty and you've got a 100% success rate to win the round.
I don't know if someone's drone fell through the map or what exactly happened, but Kush obviously saw something that we didn't. I don't know what it is, but all actually 4 members of the 5 from Death are going to be pressuring in from construction. FICO getting really aggressive up here, almost having a chance and an opportunity to take care of Toasty before he's able to deal the amount of damage that he's really been able to take care of. So Toasty being the top impact performer here for Death, he's been he's been the main factor for the reason that Death has won a majority of these rounds.
I wholeheartedly agree with you there. The push already being aggressive here. It looks like Toasty able to flash out the bottom of the stairs and then go for the melee onto the Banshee, as there will be 3 members pushing in through the construction side of things and through tarps, trying to clear out any of the ADSs slash just ADSs here, as Wamai has been banned. So looks like they were able to clear the ADSs. It looks like the fallback from West will come through, and Kush on a roam here on the tower stairs could really hurt this attack. There's a player on the stairs. Toasty completely unaware to the flanking Malusi. That's an easy frag for the operator. And
is that the drone glitch that he's talking about?
I have no idea, honestly.
Okay, it looks to be that Kush's bullets are able to register on his enemies, but not on their utility. That's the first time that I've ever seen that happen. FICO gonna enter back here and equalize onto Exod. Now you're just left to Jammer, Prophet, and Regrets, who haven't been that impactful in the majority of these rounds. FICO on very low HP though, so he'll be the victim to anyone here. And scared of a drone you can't destroy it? I would probably be super scared too, man. That's so much intel. That's live intel on your body. And Jammer's drone appears to be bugged as well. I don't know, man. This game is so interesting.
Yeah.
40 seconds left to go though. Jammer trying to see what he can do here, as Prophet's able to find the equalizer and the advantage in favor for his team, but he'll get choked to death, no problem. Coming out from Oreo, very easily done. But he'll get traded out instantly by Regrets. The diffuser is down in the bomb site though, so it's all on West on a shot of HP. 1 bullet is the difference between life and death here for the man. He's trying to find any possible way to put himself in the advantage. But Regrets sitting over on the pillar, easily able to dispatch of West. And Death are able to win out yet another attacking round win here on Oregon.
I mean, that was just a well-executed attack. I'm not entirely sure what was going on with some of the drones in that round. I'm not sure if what we were seeing was the drone glitch that they were talking about, or if the one that you were talking about where they can't shoot the utility was what was happening. It was definitely, I don't know, it was weird. It's definitely not something that I've ever really encountered inside of this game. So it's unfortunate that the glitches had to kind of come back to bite Windstorm, I guess. But I don't know. They have another chance here, so they're gonna go back to the laundry defense. As I mean, they have the dorms locked out, so it's either this site or one of the kitchen splits. And so it's obvious that Windstorm are, more comfortable on this site, even though they haven't really been able to win it yet. They're 0 for 3 on this site, so definitely not the win rate that you want to be looking for an objective like the basement on Oregon.
Yeah, it's very interesting that, or it's really interesting that Windstorm, they were so dominant on coastline defense, a map that doesn't have a whole lot of structure when it comes to formulating your defenses and your attacks. And then they come to Oregon and they're just anything but. Their defenses are complete out of sync. And that first round, you know, it was a 5v3 for Windstorm. And they just let Depth walk into sight. They get the diffuser down and they're able to take away the round win from they're taking away the advantage that Windstorm had built up. So Kush right now going to be hiding upstairs inside of T3, but Oreo will be the opening death here, and our bomb site is downstairs yet again in the basement. I'm not so sure what Oreo was doing or what he was trying to do right now before he got picked off by Exod.
What?
But Kush might have to make a push down the down tower or something, because I don't know. This is looking really scary here for Windstorm without that smoke.
Yeah, that's a huge operator to have taken off the board first in a match. Kush on the flank finds 2 huge kills, however, so the Sledge and Tabana will be no longer in round number 6. So even though you lost the smoke, you have the man advantage.
Wow.
And what a shot from Wes. How does he rip the head off of Exod like that without barely taking any HP? Good night to the Sophia as Toasty. He'll try to bring this back just a little bit. He'll find Twist, but it's still a 2v3. You're on low HP as well. Toasty just below 50. Jammer on full. And if Fico lets this Nitrosol loose, it could possibly net himself a kill, but it actually lands on top of the locker, so it won't make it all the way through. Now a 2v2 here as Toasty finds his second on the round. The flashbangs will come in, try to dislodge of this Goyo. It looks like he's rotated out. He could potentially go for the shield. Volcanic shield. He will blow it up. It will deal a lot of damage to Jammer, but he will be able to find the frag onto Fico. It's all up to Kush. He finds 1 headshot onto Toasty. Jammer on little HP. They're about equal. 57 seconds left. Jammer trying to go in for the flank through the objective, but Kush backing it up. He knows he has to play the time. Jammer has the diffuser on his body, so he could go for a plant, but the Maestro camera calling out his every move. Kush knows he just has to wait for that plant to start to get stuck, and he can start to go for the aggression. Jammer on the plant. Looks like he is going to stick it, so it's a post-plant position here for Kush. The intel in favor of him, though, as he tries to maneuver his way into the hallway. He's able to get the down onto Jammer. Well played by Kush. A 4K for him on the round. He salvages the first half for Windstorm, allowing it to be only a 2-4 deficit as opposed to 1-5.
Yeah, the moment that Kush made it into a 1v1, I pretty much guaranteed that it would have been in Windstorm's favor. Kush allowing that diffuser to go down was a little scary there, especially the moment Jammer got out of the field of view of that evil eye, that bubble that was being utilized by that Maestro earlier in the round. And if Jammer wins that gunfight, it's all over for Windstorm. But finally, Kush is able to put another round here on the board for his team, and he's been a very big impact performer for Windstorm. We saw how good he was on Coastline. He's coming alive yet again here for his team, doing so much work. And a stat that I would really love to see is an average damage per round stat, because the way that Kush has been playing, he's got to be dealing at least maybe 80, 90 points of damage per round to like the other team, and if not even higher above that, because usually whenever you do get shot in the head, it is 120 points of damage. And then if you get shot down to an injure and then you finish off that injure, that's also considered another 120 points. But the way that Kush has been playing, it's been absolutely spectacular.
I definitely agree. He's really been, the one carrying this map for his team. Just keeping it, ever so close. And on the other side, Toasty, the top fragger, but I mean, he's at his support. Only one person on depth is negative. That's Profit. And I mean, he spent the entire first half on Sledge, so that soft destruction, a very important role. So not too much fragging, I guess, coming from a Sledge. I mean, I guess, yeah, you expect your Sledge to frag out a little bit, but Profit not needing to, and now that he's on the smoke, he's not, the primary fragger for his team. He's definitely going to leave that up to Toasty and Exod, as looks like we're going to have a fairly heavy roam game here, at least inside of Attic. I'm not sure if there was players down below, It looks like there are the attack operators who are just trying to dislodge some of this denial of the wall as Oreo. He's gonna have the opening frag here. His first of the match on to Jammer. So that'll be taking out the Kaid, one of the nitro cells, and no longer the ability to trick that wall with the electric claws. They'll have to use the bandit batteries if they're in position, but it doesn't look like Toasty is anywhere close to being able to trick that wall.
Yeah, it's a really massive pick. That Jammer is off the board there, but Wes will be traded out by Exod, the Jaeger from Death. He's possibly trying to get into a second engagement, but he'll take the smart move here and rotate all the way over towards main stairs. Regret's going to be watching that white staircase, and Exod trying to make sure that no one's outside the front door. He'll get spotted out from a drone inside a classroom, provided that Wes was on that particular drone, and he'll move himself back into the garage as FICO is going to look to refrag Kush's drone here.
Oh no.
But Kush's drone will be running out of time any moment here. And now both he and FICO will have to fight against Exod currently inside the garage, should they know his exact location.
I'm not sure they do. It looked like the Iana completely ignored the garage, so Exod is likely left undetected. Toasty will rattle a few shots over towards Twist, and a few will hit as Exod. No, it looks like they are aware. The air jab is blocking off his rotation. The Oreo picks up his second on the round. Exod now off the board as he was trying to rotate out of garage. So well played there actually by Windstorm. Nitro Cell comes flying over the wall, won't land onto anything as Twist is trying to make his entrance onto the site. He gets traded out though by Toasty, who's having to deal with two angles. Last three attackers seemingly like they want to attack in through the attic, but looks like they'll finally actually be able to get the electricity off of this wall. I'm not sure if it was the Artilla or the bandit batteries that were stopping it, but regardless, it will be gone, and that'll open up this avenue of attack. But Toasty, close left. Is he gonna win the gunfight? No! Oreos will find his third on the round. Kush cleans things up, and Windstorm finally stringing things together. They'll win the first round of the second half, bringing things ever so closer.
Ooh!
What a flick.
Even after 5 years, Kush is still nasty with it. Man. What a grinder this guy is. And although it wasn't a headshot, it was a pretty nice flick, to be fair. It was a pretty nice flick.
It doesn't have to be a headshot.
Yeah.
It to be a nice shot.
Overall, the fact that Windstorm are still trying to make this comeback happen, it shows that they're not done yet by any means. And I'm curious as to how that attack round played out, why it didn't look like that on Coastline. I'm not so sure what to make of these teams. Like they're just so it's so unorthodox how they're really good at defending, an unstructured map like Coastline on Windstorm, but then they come over into Oregon and they just can't string anything. And granted, Ace is on the board, but that still shouldn't be, a reason for the defenders to be losing so much from Windstorm, because you have Thatcher and Maverick off the board. Your only hard breachers are Thermite and Hibana alongside Ace. It's just a weirdly weird setup of rounds that have stringed together here on Oregon.
It's an interesting dynamic, how this match is played out in favor, really, of the attack. So the band's possibly having something to do with that as a spawn peek coming out here. Exod unable to land any of his shots. All of those attackers spawning over on the construction side will make it away with all of their HP. So no harm, no foul here for both of these teams, I guess. Neither of the two coming out at a disadvantage. But the attack will start to form itself. It's going to come in through the big tower as Kush repels into tier 3, trying to clear that out. Obviously, it looks like they have cleared it out with the drones beforehand. There's no roamers really coming out from depth. It seems like they're all positioned on the second floor, around the site at least. A couple of members inside of Trophy, some inside of Attic holding there, but none seem to be off of the second floor. So an anchor strategy, to say the least, coming out from depth as some angles being held here. Kush got to take a little bit of damage, it seems, from the bandit. Not gonna die though, so he'll be able to use those impacts to potentially take out the bandit batteries or the electric claw. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but Toasty's gonna try to deny it, but he can't get away from Oreo, who punches the window and takes the head right off of the bandit. So gonna alleviate this pressure inside of Attic before Exod actually takes his spot. So it'll now be up to the Jaeger to try to hold off on the rest of this attack.
Yeah, I don't know what Toasty's plan was there. He's been their top performer, and losing him this early on in the round without being able to use a C4 is really impactful. Because now that only leaves Jammer and Prophet with the C4s left in hand. Although Prophet hasn't been heavily in the fragging department, he has been landing some shots onto his opponents. He's been softening them up for his team. Hopefully for Jammer and Prophet, they're able to kind of wake up a little bit here and help out Toasty in the fragging department. But Prophet's able to fight back, just as I mentioned. He's able to take care of Twist, so down goes your ace. But Twist really hasn't been that active or that vocal inside of this series as it is. Prophet swings properly, but doesn't even react. Probably those old man genes that are inside of him, but I don't know. He is like around the age of a dinosaur in esports terms.
That's funny, but regardless, either the attack coming in, oh, pre-fires from Exod as he takes down Kush, so gonna be taking out that Zofia. Some more pre-fires as the Jaeger is holding on to the line from inside of Attic. The pre-fire from FICO, though, too strong. It leaves now Jammer in the 1v3 situation. The plant coming down from FICO, so it's gonna be a post plant here shortly. Ooh, almost a nice shot there onto the head of that player outside the big window, or just inside of it. Oh no, he pulls out the Han Solo and West peeks wide. Unfortunate for Jammer. Another round win for Windstorm as they're trying to bring things back on their attack. They now tie things up at 4 apiece.
Yeah, it's so weird how attacker side of this map is. I mean, granted, you know, ace is on the board, but you can the ace isn't providing that much in the fragging department on the players that are playing him, you know. But Kush and Oreo have really stepped up here for Windstorm, and they've been able to put their team actually in a position to tie against Death. Toasty is really the only performer for Death right now. Prophet kind of came alive there in a sense, but you know, he hasn't been that vocal. Jammer, we did see some good things out of him back on Coastline, but he's kind of cooled off here since then, since that first half of Coastline. A lot of the guys on Depth have outside of Toasty and Exod. I think your mic be muted, Razors.
No, you're right. I mean, I was kind of thinking for a second there.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
I don't know. I think if Depth want to, you know, push this, I don't know. It's weird. We've been seeing so many maps today that we expect to go to either the attack or the defense, more commonly the defense, go the opposite way. So I don't know. I don't really know what to expect for the rest of this match. It's been really attacker sided thus far. It looks like even in this round, it's going to be a straight construction take. At least 3 of the members from the attack pushing this direction. As the Cade has got the angle held here. He's just waiting for the opportunity. It almost looked like it was going to be given to him, but that player just crouched behind the barrels. He's not going to be giving away the angle to his head just yet. Looks like that might either be the Ash or the Zofia. I think it's the Zofia, as both of them seem to be positioned behind those barrels. But yeah, the attack winning most of these rounds is definitely not common for Oregon, and definitely leads to some interesting gameplay as the first Toxic Babes will come out. It's just a full construction push. They're stacking up 4 members outside of this double door into construction. I don't understand what the gameplay is. They kind of try to dislodge these anchors from behind with a nice flank potentially, but it looks like they just want to try to take this head on.
They've wasted over. They're getting close to wasting half the round here. Prophet's going to be the first opening death yet again, and West going big here with the double kill. Everyone on Death is falling apart here, and Toasty's going for the flank. he's gonna have to deal with an air jab on top of these over at the staircase here. And he's not gonna have much room to work with. He's gonna have to crouch underneath, see if he can find this air jab, but he won't be able to spot it out. And now that the both air jabs are going down, he should be taken care of. But it was shot. What a shot from Toasty! It would have cleaned up FICO. And Toasty is now in a 1v3. Trying to do as best as he can here, just crouch spamming, seeing what he can do, just pre-firing everywhere. But Wes will come out on top there. 3 picks on the kid for him, and Windstorm will have their first lead here on Oregon.
You could tell that Toasty was not very confident in his ability to win that round, going for more BM than anything. But I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess the map is just opposite day today. Oregon is just going to be, I mean, one of the more defender-sided maps in the map pool is now attacker-sided for this matchup. And what looked like a potential map number 3 here being brought out by Depth Esports, I mean, has completely flipped and is now entirely in possession of Windstorm to take this 2-0, which, I mean, I don't think any of us really expected that, especially given the way the map pool turned out.
Yeah, I completely agree with that one there. It's just so strange seeing that these maps, well, are practically flipped, you know? We saw Coastline be defender-sided. We're seeing Oregon here be defender-sided. And it looks to be we are going to need a rehost as Oreo will have his second disconnect.
It's unlucky.
Just unfortunate here for Windstorm that all their momentum will be coming to a halt. And Oreo, Kush, and Wes have been their 3 impact performers for Windstorm. We are waiting on confirmation for a rehost from our admin. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to rehost.
10 seconds remaining.
We're just waiting on that confirmation. But overall,
5 seconds.
Depth's round wins have only come from attack. Windstorm have been able to win out 3 rounds, and since we are being thrown back to the screen, it looks to be that we are going to go into a rehost here for Oreo. But like I was saying right now, Razor, it's just so shocking to me how flipped these maps are. I did not expect for Coast. I mean, I kind of expected, you know, Coastline to be kind of even for both these teams. But then Depth, they just couldn't string anything together after being up 3-1. They lost 6 in a row to Windstorm. And then you come over here to Oregon, and Depth on attack, they're just pulling round after round. They're going up 4-2. And then they get flipped over to the defense, and then they just have no answer to stop the onslaught that's coming in. That's coming in from Windstorm.
Yeah, it's ironic, right, that the 2 maps that we have played, one of them being attacker-sided, actually goes in favor of the defense, and then the other map, which is defensive-sided, goes in favor of the attack. So the dynamics that are being played out here in this matchup between both of these 2 teams is obviously, it's very intellectual, and it's super interesting to watch these 2 teams go back and forth with each other. So I'm excited for more. I'm hoping that Depth are able to string some momentum together on their defense, because it hasn't looked good so far. And I mean, if they want any chance to, you know, stay in Challenger League, or at least have a better chance of staying in Challenger League, they need to string some rounds together at the back end of this map. And I mean, either win it outright or just force overtime with Windstorm, because at this point, I don't know, it's just looking too strong. Windstorm have just looked super strong. They've won the opening engagement, in fact, 6 out of the 9 rounds. So really starting things out hot has been, I mean, a key form of success for Windstorm.
Yeah. So for right now, Windstorm currently are on top at a 5-4 scoreline. Kush has been absolutely massive for his team, and he's got 11 picks so far. Wes has 8. If I'm not mistaken, Oreo has about 9 or 10, so they're all like contributing in the fragging department. And then you've got FICO on that Nomad. He's been able to pick himself up a little bit more compared to what we saw on Coastline. Although on Coastline, he did have those 2 picks in the first round that Windstorm threw on that kitchen service attack.
Yes.
And then he was just cold after the rehost that we had from the Soundbug rehost. But you know, Windstorm, they're looking to be in big control here of this matchup. They're currently up 1 map against Depth. If they win this map, they don't go into relegations, and they are faced with the task of trying to fight for that 3rd and 4th place spot by going 2nd place in their group.
Yeah, you're definitely in a better position if you win this map, the series, than if you were, because the loser of this fights for what, 7th and 8th, correct?
Yeah, they have to fight for 7th and 8th depending on when the relegations go.
Yes. So it's, I mean, you're like we said, you're just in a better spot. Both of these teams want to stay in Challenger League, especially since you know, relegations for it, I mean, they only come around every so often. So to be able to actually stay in here, or for the teams earlier in the day to actually move up into Canada League, or NA League for NA, EUL for EU, regardless of what region you're in, the ability to move up is very key to these team successes. I mean, teams that get relegated out of Challenger League have a very low survivability rate. Most of them disband.
Most of them do disband, yeah, because obviously things aren't working out for them. And what's interesting to note about Death is that they went 0-2 in their group. Last stage, they lost to PDHM 2-1. And then in their elimination match, they lost to Axios 2-1, which Axios is now known as Slaughterhouse. And then they being Valors, ended up losing in the 7th and 8th, or I'm sorry, ended up winning the 7th and 8th place tiebreaker. So had relegations happened, I'm not so sure who would have come out on top or who they would have played. So you can argue that they did get a little bit blessed into having a second chance into the stage here. But clearly, after their roster changes that they made with Jammer and Exod, I think it was, with Jammer and Exod, nothing's been working for them. And I'm sorry, it was with Jammer and Regrets, because in the previous stage, Death had T-Gang, and they also had Valor, here it is. They also had T-Gang and I can't remember the other person, but they had some really sloppy performances in the first stage with those two players, and then here they are again. They have a better performance versus Oceanus, but the combination of Tanner and Phoenix were just too much for now Depth to handle, as we saw last week where they lost 2-1 versus Oceanus.
Yeah, we are gonna make our way back in to the game though. Get everything figured out with the rehosts. Again, Windstorm up 5 rounds to 4, and back down to the laundry defense. So this is
5 seconds left.
yeah, it looks like this is round number 10. My notes must be a little bit off from the last round, I guess, but regardless, it's back down to the laundry defense for Depth, not wanting to go back up to dorms. Interestingly enough, they did lose dorms twice in a row, so it might make sense as to why they wouldn't want to go there, but it'll be West. He'll start the killing off again. 2 rounds now in a row. It'll be him taking out Exot this time around, as he was able to get Profit in the previous round. So excellent work here for West on attack to be, you know, entering fairly successfully.
Yeah, he's been on a very big tear and a pretty big roam game on this anti-roam game, this entry game coming out on the Ash. And, you know, Kush as well, he's been pretty vocal in the fragging department as well, as I've mentioned before countless times. Toasty's really going to have to step up here for his team. And with the freezer hatch being opened, I don't see any ADSs near him, so should a nade come out from Oreo, he could be in a pretty tough spot. But he'll make the smart rotate over to Pillar, while Regrets will start to hold control and keep control of Freezer.
Yes, a little bit of bandit tricking being done here by Toasty, as just trying to keep that mirror window alive for as long as humanly possible. But the push coming towards the main stairs, he's gonna get super aggressive and see if he can't take the engagement. Diana coming in will give away a little bit of intel, and as he hops up onto the desk, Twist will have a nice kill. The nitrocell does come flying through, but it's not going to land onto any of its targets, possibly just doing a little bit of damage. But Prophet swings wide, takes the head right off of Twist, trying to fight back in this round. 70 seconds left. There's two inside a freezer. A nice pre-fire from FICO to take Toasty right off of the mirror window, leaving Prophet and Jammer in the 2v4. A gas canister comes out from Prophet. You will get another kill down, a finisher onto Wes. So possibly trying to fight back here. They still have a lot of time that they need to waste. Two gas canisters still left, or one gas canister still left for Prophet. He's just denying that utility from the Iana. Might even go for another peek here into freezer. There are two members attacking from this direction, and if he wide swings now, he might be able to catch them off guard, but he's just biding his time, seeing if they won't push into his angles. The pre-fires come through. Is he going to be able to catch the Iana? No. Looks like it's unaware. No, Prophet. He's actually able to get the one inside a freezer, but there's a second. Doesn't look like he's aware. Leaving things all up to Jammer here. The plant does start to go down from Oreo, and it looks like FICO is just going to play the cover. Not going to risk his life, and he's just going to wait for his teammate to get that bomb down and then start to push back further into the freezer. Jammer having the disadvantage of having that slug shotgun, the TCSG, but he's able to land his headshots. He'll be able to win the round, but no. Oreo finds the shots he needs, takes Jammer with the body shots, giving a little bit of BM, shaking his head no, as Windstorm is now going to be moving on to match point.
Yeah, things are really not looking good here for Death. Besides Prophet picking up those important picks, that round ends up being impactless for him in the fragging department. So match point, series point, and relegation point are on the line here for Depth. They don't want to go down 2-0 to Windstorm, but it's really looking like that's going to be the case here. And with Oregon, I'm honestly shocked as to how Windstorm have been able to string together so many rounds. Because again, Depth have not won a round since round number 5 of Oregon, because it was a 4-1 scoreline before Windstorm won that 6th round. And then it's just been everything Windstorm. Everything, every single round won since round 6 has been Windstorm. They've won 4 rounds in a row. They're looking to make it 5. I don't know how Depth can recover here. They need to stop giving up these early picks. That's one way they can start to work these rounds into their favor, obviously, is if they stop giving up these early picks. But it's tough to do that.
I mean, I 100% agree with you. The opening picks have been hurting Depth tremendously, especially since they've only been able to find the opening frag in 3 of the 10 rounds so far. So definitely not good statistic, and especially on a defense. It's never good to lose the first kill on defense, because most of the defensive operators have utility that gets stronger as the round goes on, like your smoke, your Maestro cameras, Legion with his goo mines. But there's also operators in which, they put their, it's kind of place and forget. You put the utility down and you kind of forget that it's even there, because you've already placed your utility down. You don't have to worry about it anymore, or you don't have to worry about losing it as well. So it can go really both ways, who really finds the advantage from an opening pick, but most often it's in favor of the defense. As it'll be Oreo. Another opening kill here. He's now 3-0 on the opening engagements. Regrets yet to fall on an opening kill, so he's now 0-1.
Not only is that regrets falling, that's also your smoke, and that's that's a massive pick here for the attacking squad, because that's your only source of entry denial outside of the 3 C4s that are being brought from Death. So you've only got 1 piece of barbed wire and 3 Malusi Banshees to deal with. So looking at the side of things for Windstorm, they have more than enough utility to deal with all those gadgets and utility that are being brought out from the defending squad at Depth. But with that opening pick going in the hands of Windstorm, If Prophet, Jammer, and Toasty are not able to make those C4s connect, this is going to be GG, and it's over for
Oh my
Depth
God.
here. It's on the line here, but there goes Wes finally being able to be brought down by Prophet. No drone game coming in for him.
Oh!
But he'll get caught outside a trophy. Twistin waiting open arms. And the advantage will go back in favor yet again for Windstorm.
That was Twist was literally welcoming that frag to him, and he opens the second one as well. A nice headshot onto Exad. Respect coming out in chat as Oreo. He just walks up white stairs. The defense here falling apart for Depth Esports. A 1v4 for Jammer. Stuck inside of Kids. Spots out the player trying to vault down from the attic. Is able to find Oreo at the top of white stairs, but there's 3 more, and with the plant starting to come down, he does have a nitro cell. He could potentially deny this plant if he gets it into the right position, but no, not on the other side. He's actually able to do a lot of damage to Twist, who falls down and is able to find the kill. Windstorm win out round number 11 and take the map and series in 2-0 fashion. Well played here by Windstorm, as they're now going to be moving into that 3rd and 4th place matchup to face off against, I believe, the Slats, correct? And then Slaughterhouse Depth Esports will be going down into the 7th and 8th place match to face off against Slaughterhouse. So, unfortunate for Depth, as they're just unable to find the rounds that they need in order to win this series. But well played to Windstorm, who take a very, very close matchup in their favor. So yeah, well played to them, especially Oreo.
Yeah, looking back at the bracket, so just refreshing my notes. For Group A, the losers finals will be between Honor and the Slats. They'll be having a rematch against each other. Meanwhile, in Group B, you'll have Oceanus and Windstorm facing off for the losers finals, while Depth and Slaughterhouse will be fighting for that 7th, 8th place tiebreaker for seeding and relegations. So tough break for both those teams, but it is, it has to happen. It definitely it has to happen. So what a game from both these teams, but Depth just were not able to piece together the puzzle quick enough compared to Windstorm. And there were a lot of rounds that should have gone in the favor of Depth, but the moment that it switched to attack for Windstorm, it was just everything Windstorm. It was WS City.
Yeah, 100%. And even with some unfortunate disconnects, Windstorm able to power through and win the round. So yeah, some nice replays, courtesy of our amazing spectator creator. Thank you so much again for being able to deal with all of the casters here today and all the tech issues. So yeah, some nice rounds here. Just like, I don't know, it was really the roam game. I feel like Windstorm just were able to roam, and there was no punishment really coming out from Depth. I mean, they were able to take the first half pretty convincingly on their attack, so it didn't really matter too much. But once it switched over, it was, I don't know, it was Depth Esports just completely lost their mojo, and I mean, there was no turning
I'm
back.
surprised that Oreo won that gunfight, especially being on full HP. I can't believe he won that gunfight, but that was a really good shot from Exod. Unfortunately for Depth, they just left Jammer in too many 1vx situations. They overextended, lost their lives too often, and they just were not able to put themselves into any kind of control. This round here, if Prophet probably stays inside of Armory just a little while longer, or rotates down the main stairs and tries to play below and either rotate up whites, that possibly changes things for his team. But unfortunately, that's obviously not what happened. And yet again, Depth are being forced to go into their 7th and 8th place placement relegation match. So that'll be against Slaughterhouse. And the last time that both of those teams played, they played inside of Group B, and it was Axios that ended up coming on top of it. So it was a 2-1 score line between Axios and Valors. We don't have the maps that were played there, we just know the result. So unfortunately, Valors, the changes that they made at this stage were not enough. They were not able to take down Oceanus. Then, as we just saw tonight, they weren't able to take down Windstorm. So I'm actually really excited to see how Windstorm and Oceanus play against each other. And for our finals, what we saw earlier is going to be between PDHM and Team Oblivion. So that's going to be a game that you definitely don't want to miss. But we're going to cut it to a short break. We'll be right back with our representative from Windstorm, and we'll be right back with an interview.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am joined not by Rafi from the Slats, but this is Oreo, Jack Mensch from Windstorm. Jack, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Long time no see. We've come a long way since the Xbox days, me and you.
Yeah, for real. For people that don't know, me and Oreo here casted together back on Xbox, and now you're in Canada Challenger League. So, first off, how does it feel to get your first dub under your belt for Challenger League?
I mean, it feels good. We felt like last week we kind of underperformed, and we didn't really live up to the expectations. So it was really good to come out and really show that we can perform well and just like really win our attacks on Oregon. Like we struggled last week to win attacks against OB, and I feel like we kind of did a really good job today of showing that we actually know how to attack on Oregon. So that was good.
Yeah, y'all definitely had a much better Oregon this week around. And I wanted to kind of talk about Oblivion, because obviously Oblivion, the team that made it into that finals to play off against PDHM. So y'all had a tough matchup first week, but you're able to bounce back and beat a team like Depth. Y'all struggled though at the beginning of some of those maps. Do you think that just had to do with you trying to get used to their play style, or was it just them outperforming you guys?
Yeah, I mean, our defenses, we kind of just like, we trolled some rounds, like we would just like let them walk into sight, and then but like we usually are like a team that starts slow, but once we find our groove, we really get into it and start hitting our stride. We play with a lot of confidence and we play off of each other's energy, so we're big into momentum, I guess. But I mean, really on Oregon, I say like our defenses, we just kind of overpeaked and took fights we didn't need to take. And on Coastline, I mean, sometimes Coastline, we weren't really expecting them to be running like upstairs strats and all that, especially because like we knew going into the map phase that they didn't really have a lot of stuff on Coastline, so we could just kind of went in like a little bit overconfident, I'd say, and then we were like, wow, like we could actually lose, like we gotta like pull together, So
yeah, there were a couple of excellent rounds there, and even the round where you actually lagged out, you were the only person on site for that long defense. You kind of noticed it. I mean, they were able just to walk onto site without killing anybody and then get that bomb down. That was unfortunate that there was the lag out issues, but Hopefully you're able to get those fixed for the next week. But I did want to, talk about the fact that both of these maps went opposite of what is expected. The coastline map went to the defense more, and then we also saw the attack win more rounds on Oregon. Is that just how it gets played out in Canada Challenger League, or do you think that has to do with you two teams and your play styles?
I'd say that attacker side at Oregon is definitely really rare, especially with the bans, the Thatcher and the Maverick ban. It's really hard to get those walls open. But I mean, if you saw like on the Oregon game, we kind of just like ratted around and tried to get first picks. Like I'd like hit a window,
Yes.
or I'd like walk up some staircases. And I mean, once we really were just looking for picks on Oregon, and I feel like that's like what it comes down to. Like you can get picks. It doesn't really matter like about the setups. If you know how to like play trades, you can win some rounds. Like even if you are bad at creating setups. So we knew going in that it would be hard to clear the walls with all the denials. We were like, fuck it. Like, I'm sorry. Can't say that, but my bad. We were like, yeah, let's just like go for picks and then just trade out. So
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Y'all were definitely strong on the entry. But anyway, lastly, I want to ask you anything that you want to say to the fans, the people out there watching, what to expect from Windstorm going into the matches next week and then for the future.
I'd just like to say thanks to all the Xbox boys for supporting me. It really feels good to see everyone in the chat just representing, and to all the homies, all the Windstorm fans, thanks for showing love. We hope not to disappoint again, and try to get third or fourth. I think that's the highest we can get now, but just I mean, really, we just want more time with Wes, honestly, because Wes, going into last week, he was like sort of a new player. He'd be on the roster for like 2 weeks, and then there's a lot of like outside distractions going on just because of like just Twitter stuff, and I don't want to get into it, but a lot of distractions. But now we're focused on winning, and we're gonna try to get back to that. So thank you.
Well, that's good. I hope to see you guys take your matchup next week, and then continue to bode strong for the upcoming stages, as well as you have avoided relegation. So congratulations, Jack, and good luck to the rest of your team. Enjoy your win for tonight.
Thanks, man.
What a matchup there. I love talking to Jack. Me and him go way back. Me and him used to be on the grind for both casting Xbox and even casting, and he spectated for me for early. We've casted some big matches. So I love him, and I love to see that team comes out on top.
Yeah, very well played from Windstorm overall in that series. Able to persevere and come out with the dub on both Coastline and Oregon, not giving up an inch on their attacks for Oregon. That map was so backwards. So backwards. We're going to go and look into the bracket now for you guys to see how things are looking here. So Team Oblivion going into, so Team Oblivion coming up from Group A. Actually, no, Group B, I'm sorry, Group B. Team Oblivion coming up from Group B as they win out their group. And then Oceanus will be playing against, not Depth, but they'll be playing Windstorm. Because Depth lost, and they'll be playing against Slaughterhouse. So that'll be a good matchup to see. We haven't seen Oceanus versus Depth. But yeah, so we've got Oceanus playing against Depth. And on Saturday, we've also got the US Challenger League. We've got Beast Coast coming up against Rent 3 to see who will be fighting for that relegation spot against Tempo Storm. Meanwhile, you've also got the relegation matches between Bracket Blessed, otherwise known as Guidance Gaming, and Joe Esports. And then in the losers finals for so for next week, we're only going to determine the third and fourth place teams. For the losers finals of Group A, we've got 8 versus The Last Dance. And then for Group B, it'll be Favelas and Team Oblation yet again in a rematch. So it'll be the third time that these two teams will be playing in Group B for the past like 6 months or so. So
Yes.
yeah, so without further ado, thank you guys so much for coming out to support us, to support the teams, the fans. We wouldn't be here without you guys. We really support you guys for supporting Canada Challenger League. I know it's seen as the lesser viewed CL scene, but these guys are trying their hardest and they're trying to do what they can with what they've got. So For PDHM and Oblivion, we'll see them in about a couple weeks. Same for Rent Free versus Beast Coast, and then the next 2 weeks will be for seeding, and that'll be it for our second stage of 2020. So without further ado, guys, we'll catch you guys next week.